Hello, welcome to Survival ABCs. This pouch is from Condor. It's for attaching onto Condor style backpacks and other backpacks similar to them. First off, this is not a survival kit. This is a cold weather kit. This is geared primarily for the cold weather. Like I stated, this is not a survival kit. This does not have absolutely everything in it like my other survival kits do. This kind of kit I would carry with me basically in and around camp. If I happen to, if it's possibly dark and you wander off to take a leak and you get yourself a little lost in a cold blizzard, for example, this is the kit I would probably keep on my belt with me. This is basically like an emergency shelter in an emergency situation where I'm lost for that little bit of period in the dark, perhaps. So this is basically just primarily fire making and cover. That's basically all it is. I do have a warm weather kit that focuses primarily on hydration, as well as a little bit of fire for the sake of purifying water, but I'll get into that some other time. But this is primarily for the cold weather temperatures. So I would keep this on my belt with me the second I leave the car. If I'm sleeping, I might take it off and just keep it in the bivvy with me, but I won't go anywhere around camp without it. So I've had a few over the years. Some are much bigger, some of them were a lot more heavier. So this one here is really small and a little compact. So for starters, I got a paracord bracelet here. Definitely nice to have one of these around. I really love these, by the way, just in general. Even if it doesn't have all the little extra gadgets on the clip, I just love these. Alright, I got an emergency blanket here. This one here is a little bit cheaper, but it's still very useful. When it comes to the shelter, I won't actually build a shelter. More than likely, I'll just wrap this around myself, and I'll have it sit directly in front of the fire. In these kinds of situations, don't expect to get any sleep whatsoever. Trust me on that. It's kind of like a false hope kind of thing in a way. But you're just going to wrap yourself around you, sit directly in front of the fire, and keep yourself warm for the night until the sun rises, and hopefully you can find your way back to wherever it is you got lost from. So this one here is also an e-blanket. This one is like a lot more stiff, a little more heavier duty. It's not like flexible like the other one is. This one here is a lot more smaller by comparison. I've actually unfolded this whole thing. So if anything, I'd probably use this just to sit on, just to keep my butt dry and off the snow or the wet ground or whatever the case might be. Also in here we got some other little things. Some of the stuff I'm sure you guys have already seen before in my other previous videos and some of my gear videos. This is on this end here is a small tiny button compass, and it's surprisingly accurate actually too. If you unscrew this part here, there's small little amounts of dry tinder. You unscrew the center and there's a ferro rod in there. On this end there's a whistle, a very high-pitched squealing whistle, and you unscrew the whistle, there's a striking piece for the ferro rod. So I figured I'd include it in this kit. It's very lightweight. It's all nice size of a little bit smaller than a pen. Very nice to have. I won it at the preppers meet a couple of months back, so definitely gonna put this to use for the cold weather kit. Also, I got an additional striking piece for that ferro rod. The striking piece that comes with that is very small. I've managed to get fire going all the same, but sometimes something like this, an extra little bit, will definitely help you out. Next up, signaling mirror. This one's made out of stainless steel. It's very tough, very durable. It's got a little viewing window right in the middle. Of course, I got a small little button compass in here as well. But of course, the compass on here is very accurate, but it is a small button compass. And oh, we got a visitor. Go on. Sorry, a dog just strolled right on in, tried to lick me. Anyway, sorry, as I was saying, the button compass on here is very accurate, but it is a very small compass, so I figured I'd add an additional compass just in case that one there might not work, or vice versa. Next, in this pouch, this one's a little bit tricky to remove, but let's see about getting it all the same. Come on. As I'm sure you remember this one as well, this is the credit card knife. Super sharp, unbelievably sharp. It's very small, very compact, but it's definitely nice to have a small blade for the sake of tinder preparation and such. So I definitely am going to include it into the kit. It's also very small and very lightweight. And of course, it is, an emergency kit, and it is going to be bad conditions as well, so I figured I'd include a cigarette lighter as well. This is one of the miniature cigarette lighters, so, on the very bad days, I'll definitely use this because it's very quick, very fast, but it's still a good idea to carry other things with you, just in case, this might not work in those freezing temperatures. So it's always a good idea to carry more than one fire starting method with you. And I'm not sure exactly, I can't remember exactly why off the top of my head why I got this. Is the little can openers. I'm sure I'll remember at some point or another, but I figure I just include it anyway, just for now. So now the primary pouch container is empty, so now it's the outside pouch that we're going to get into. And in this pouch I've got most of the fire starting tinders. This one here in particular is from the Bear Grylls survival kits. I have a couple of these little bags laying around. It's got 4 of these wicks in there. You just got to pull them apart, and that's where the knife is going to come into play. To prepare these, get them striked or lit on with the lighter, and definitely help you get the fire going with these tinders. I also have about I think 3 wet fire tinders. So these right here. These haven't failed me yet, and I really like them, so I'm definitely going to be carrying them around again this winter. And lastly, there's my Esbit fuel cubes. I got about 3 in here. I also got 3 of those. So these here, wet weather, they're definitely very vital to have with you. Definitely help you get the fire started up, because a lot of that tinder and kindling is going to be wet. So it's always nice to have a little boost like this. And that's what I have in this kit here today. When time goes on, I'm sure there's going to be some things that might be a little bit different. In the past, we've had different styles, we have different sizes and different gear overall together, but either way, it's definitely nice to have something like this around. Again, it's not necessarily a survival kit. It's basically primarily is fire, as well as a little bit of shelter. The first time I had these kinds of kits, it was a big leg pouch. It was very big, very bulky. It slung off of my belt and strapped around my leg. The first time I used it, the kit was very small, it was very lightweight, but the pouch was overall just big and bulky and very half-assed put together. The second time around I had something a little more professional as a leg pouch, but it was quite heavy with the amount of stuff that I had, and the leg strap just kept loosening and loosening. It just kept flopping around in the wind, so to speak. So now, and then last year I used something similar to this, not quite this exact same pouch, but it did perform quite well, and this is the year I'm going with this pouch, so hopefully things will go even better and more smoother. So this is my cold weather kit. Get inspired, try creating one for your own if you so wish to, and stay safe and stay alive. This is Survival ABCs. I'll see you around. Till next time.